Bukka White. Booker T. Washington Bukka White, November 12, 1906, February 26, 1977, was an American Delta blues guitarist and singer. Biography. White was born south of Houston, Mississippi. He was a first cousin of B.B. King's mother. White's mother and King's grandmother were sisters. Bukka is a phonetic spelling of White's first name. He was named after the African-American educator and civil rights activist Booker T. Washington. He played national resonator guitars, typically with a slide in an open tuning. He was one of the few, along with Skip James, to use a cross-note tuning in E minor, which he may have learned, as James did, from Henry Stuckey. He also played piano, but less adeptly. White started his career playing the fiddle at square dances. He claimed to have met Charlie Patton soon after, but some have doubted this recollection. Nonetheless, Patton was a strong influence on White. "I wants to come to be a great man like Charlie Patton," White told his friends. He first recorded for Victor Records in 1930. His recordings for Victor, like those of many other bluesmen, included country blues and gospel music. Victor published his photograph in 1930. His gospel songs were done in the style of Blind Willie Johnson, with a female singer accentuating the last phrase of each line. From 14 recordings, Victor released 2 records under the name Washington White, 2 gospel songs with Memphis Minnie on backing vocals, and 2 country blues. 9 years later, while serving time for assault, he recorded for the folklorist John Lomax. The few songs he recorded around this time became his most well-known, "Shake 'Em On Down" and "Po' Boy." His 1937 version of the oft-recorded song "Shake 'Em On Down" is considered definitive. It became a hit while White was serving time in Mississippi State Penitentiary, commonly known as Parchment Farm. He wrote about his experience there in Parchment Farm Blues, which was released in 1940. He served in the U.S. Navy from 1942 to 19. White had recorded the song simply because his other songs had not particularly impressed the Victor record producer. It was a studio composition of which White had thought little until it re-emerged 30 years later. Fatty and Denson found White easily enough. Fatty wrote a letter to White and addressed it to Bukka White, old blues singer, C/O General Delivery, Aberdeen, Mississippi, presuming, given White's song Aberdeen, Mississippi, that White still lived there or nearby. The postcard was forwarded to Memphis, where White worked in a tank factory. Fatty and Denson soon traveled there to meet him, and White and Fatty remained friends for the rest of White's life. He recorded a new album for Denson and Fatty's Tacoma Records, and Denson became his manager. White was at one time also managed by Arne Brogger, an experienced manager of blues musicians. Later in his life, White was friends with musician Furry Louise. The two were recorded mostly in Louise's Memphis apartment by Bob West for an album, Furry Louise, Bukka White and Friends Party, at home, released on the Arcola label. White died of cancer in February 1977, at the age of 70, in Memphis, Tennessee. In 1990, he was posthumously inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame along with Blind Blake and Lonnie Johnson. On November 21, 2011, the Recording Academy announced the addition of Fixin' to Die Blues to its 2012 list of Grammy Hall of Fame award recipients. Legacy. The Led Zeppelin song Hats Off to Roy Harper on the band's 1970 album Led Zeppelin Roman III was based in large part on White's Shake 'Em On Down. Custard Pie, a song on their 1975 album Physical Graffiti, also references Shake 'Em On Down. White's 1963 recordings of Shake 'Em On Down and spoken word piece Remembrance of Charlie Patton were both sampled by electronic artist Recoil, mostly a one-man effort by Alan Wilder of Depeche Mode for the track Elec. The song was reworked and re-released on the 2000 EP Jezebel. In 1995, White's Aberdeen, Mississippi was covered as Aberdeen by guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd on his debut album, Leadbitter Heights. It reached number 23 on the Billboard North America Mainstream Rock Tracks in 1996. On January 26, 2010, Eric Bibb released Booker's guitar TL31756 through Telarc International Corporation after becoming inspired by the hidden stories Bibb felt by holding White's famous guitar. White's song Parchment Farm Blues was recorded by Jeff Buckley and was released posthumously on the bonus disc of Buckley's album Grace, Legacy Edition. In 2011, White was honored with a marker on the Mississippi Blues Trail in Houston, Mississippi. The Bukka White Blues Festival is an annual music festival on Columbus Day weekend in Aberdeen, Mississippi. Discography. Studio albums: Mississippi Blues Tacoma, 1964. Sky Songs Vol. 1 and 2 are Hooley Records, 1965. Memphis Hot Shots Blue Horizon, 1968. Big Daddy Biography Records, 1974. Live album: Country Blues Sparkus in Concert, 1975. Compilation albums: Parchment Farm 1937-1940 Columbia, 1969. Baton Rouge Mosby Street Blues Beacon, 1982. Aberdeen Mississippi Blues 1937-1940 Travelin' Man, 1985. Parchment Farm Blues Orbis Records, 1992. Shake 'Em On Down New Rose, 1993. The Complete Bukka White 1937-1940 Columbia, 1994. 1963 Isn't 1962 Adelphi, 1994. Good Gin Blues Drive, 1995. Shake 'Em On Down Catfish, 1998. The Panama Limited ABM 2000. Revisited Fuel, 2003. Aberdeen Mississippi Blues, The Vintage Recordings 1930-1940 Document, 2003. Mississippi Blues Giant EPM 2003. Fixin' to Die Snapper, 2004. Parchment Farm Blues Roots, 2004. Aberdeen Mississippi Blues Sunset BLVD Records, 2019. References